Welcome, everybody. I'm Kara Fleischer. This is Tallahassee Green Faith Alliance for our May meeting, and just really happy to see everybody. We are going to be talking about sustainable sanctuaries today, and we have special guests, Tessa Schreiner from the Leon County Sustainability Office. So she's going to be speaking with us soon about the programs that Leon County has to support us. And I'll tell you, with the work that I do around the state, I have been told time and time again how lucky we are to have such a great and supportive county to be able to give us grants for gardens. No other county that the people I work with have that $1,000 grant opportunity, and I've just been amazed that we have that. And many of our members have taken advantage of that, and so I'm curious and excited to hear what other programs might be going on that I don't even know about. So very happy to have you here, Tessa. We are going to also have some other folks joining us to talk about a new radio show. That's a really cool opportunity for us to be involved with. So stay tuned for that too. That will be coming after Tessa's presentation. But for now, let's just go ahead and get the share screen going so we can get started. Okay, here we go. Great. So welcome again to our meeting, and we will open with a prayer. And this is a prayer that I really enjoy. I found this online, and so I would just ask you all to pray with me this morning. It is called A Prayer for Creation, Help Us, Lord. And I just think it's really a beautiful one. So let me allow some more people to come in here, and then I will read it. And if you just want to read it along with me silently while I read it, let's just try to bring peace into our heart as we come together as people of faith. Lord God, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank and praise you for the mystery of creation. Know that you are in us and we in you. Guide us, therefore, in our efforts to hand on the earth to future generations, so that others can seek to understand your will and purpose in the world. Bring your love to perfection and magnify your holy name. Help us overcome godlessness with love. Help us support and protect the victims of climate change everywhere. Those who've lost their homes or livelihoods to the ravages of famine, fire, and flood. Teach us to live in peace and in harmony with all creation. Lord, in your name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, so without further ado, we are going to have Tessa speak to us this morning. She is the manager of Leon County's Sustainability Office. She is such a positive force in our community. When I first started doing this, I went out and visited her out at her office, and she was just so welcoming and encouraging to me personally. And so I'm just really excited that Tessa is with us today, as well as Tobias. So Tessa, I don't know if you have a share screen that you would like to do, but let me go ahead and make you a co-host, and that way you will have access to that.
Great.
You should be all set. So welcome, Tessa.
Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Tessa Schreiner, and I am the Sustainability Manager for Leon County's Office of Sustainability. So thank you for the intro. I'm actually really happy today to be co-presenting with our Sustainability Programs Coordinator, Tobias Rather, who is also on. So Tobias and I will be sharing this presentation. We welcome interruptions and questions either in the chat or verbally during the presentation. So please feel free to stop us during the presentation if you have questions. We'd be happy to answer. All right.
Cool. So just a little overview about what today's presentation is going to be. Before I get into that, I'll what it's not going to be, and this can happen in the Q&A, is kind of very specific, kind of nitpicky single action items. So if there's anything, questions there, specific to recycling or something else, feel free to save that for the chat, but we could go on and on about that. So what we're going to talk today is we'll talk a little bit just about what sustainability is and why we need it, the 3 pillars of sustainability. We'll give a quick overview of our work, both our internal focus and external focus. We'll talk about where we're going as the Office of Sustainability. We'll highlight 4 programs that are especially relevant to faith-based organizations and things you guys can take advantage of. And then we'll have an open Q&A where you can ask, all the other kind of questions you want to have answered.
Awesome. And our program highlights, just to not bury the lead, are very specific to what we think faith-based organizations like yourselves could take advantage of. So we're not going to go into all of our program areas, but these are really specific to what we think may be helpful for this group or others that you may know. So just as an FYI. So I think this group is a little bit more in tune with what sustainability is and some of the other groups we give presentations to. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if anyone wants to throw into the chat a reason, a why, maybe for you, why sustainability is important for you and your church or your faith-based organization. We'd love to hear from you about why you feel it is important. We obviously feel it is important, so we won't explain why we feel that way. But we'd love to hear from you. But going into the 3 pillars of sustainability. So we get a lot of questions like, oh, you work in sustainability, that's just environmentalism. And that is not the case. Sustainability is the balance of 3 pillars: equity, economy, and environment. And the balance of all 3. Historically, the environmental aspect of sustainability has gotten the most, I would say, attention. And the equity piece has been often shafted in a way that we feel like we need to do a lot more work in reforming and repairing that. I think we see a movement which is, I think, vital to ensure that equity is at the focus of all sustainability work. For multiple reasons, right? So people focused, but also focusing on the equitable outcomes for, people of various identities and marginalized communities, lower income communities, et cetera. So these are the 3 pillars of sustainability. We try to make sure that all of our projects hit on these 3 pillars and really bringing the equity focus to the forefront is we'll talk a little bit about that, but what's next for our office and what we have not done a very good job of until not until now, what we hope to do a better job of in the future.
So for our work kind of has 2 focuses. We have the privilege of being able to kind of lead in sustainability by making our own operations more sustainable. We always talk about, we can't go out there and tell people what to do or give people advice if we're not willing and doing that work ourselves. And then the second part of that is driving sustainable action in the community. So that's through our programs and more of these public outreach events, which has obviously changed a little bit since COVID. But something like this, helps drive sustainable action in the community. Just being able to have conversations like the ones we're having today. Tessa, if you go to the next slide. So some examples of things we're doing internally. So we're a little bit limited because the county itself doesn't have a utility. So we're able to make small kind of energy efficiency upgrades. This is our largest solar array, which is at the Cooperative Extension building at Paul Russell Road. We're working on making our fleet more green. So the vehicle that you see there is the county's first electric vehicle. We have a plan to transition at least 30% of our light duty vehicles to electric by 2030. We think and hope that we'll get there much quicker. And then in addition to that, we just do general sustainability kind of advice and education for folks working within Leon County, because we want them to be examples for the community and stewards of sustainability locally.
Something that we find is really important is that, ultimately we want sustainability to be the standard operating procedure, right? Like sustainable action shouldn't be special. It should be the baseline. And so we are constantly trying to raise the bar and bake sustainability into everything that we do operationally, to ensure that it is the new foundation, on which then we amplify from there. And so that is our goal. And we're working towards that constantly. So in addition to what Tobias mentioned about what we do for our internal operations, we also do a lot of work in the community. So we have, various events. Some of you may have tuned into our summit that we had recently. That was a hybrid of online and in person. We had many topics that you may have joined into, but it was a really good event. It was our first virtual event, and it went really well. We also have quite a bit of volunteering days. So one of them is a kayak cleanup. We have obviously our programs for like community gardens, things that we'll talk about later in this presentation. So again, kind of just emphasizing that our work is really split, that we do a lot for internal operations, which sometimes touches the community and sometimes doesn't as much. And then, half of our work is focused on how do we make the community more sustainable and, provide resources and education for community members and to make that happen. Where do we go from here? So as I mentioned before, kind of our plan that we created in 2019 that was passed by our board in April of 2019 is our integrated sustainability action plan. If you haven't read it, we encourage you to do so. Tobias can drop the link into the chat. We made it as simple and as easy to understand as we could. Some of the plans we read were upwards of 100 pages, which we didn't feel anyone would read. And so for us, this plan really sets forth our goals for the next 10 years. And so, we are focused on accomplishing this plan, hopefully, and all the action items in it, hopefully before the 10-year mark, but then also working on other things that may not be included in this plan right now. So, it is inclusive of others. It is not, I guess, a comprehensive plan. It is, it's not just like these are the only things that we're working on. But the plan sets an overarching goal to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 30% by 2030 from county operations, and then 18 supporting goals and a casual 91 action items. And we are working again kind of towards achieving those. So you can see here, we have different categories. Energy and green buildings is just one of them. Water, waste reduction. We're not going to spend any time going through this today. We encourage you to look into it and ask us questions if you have any about these goals. But we're working towards achieving those. So that's all I'll talk about the ISAP today, which we call is our abbreviated name for this plan. And happy to answer any questions later if you guys have questions about that.
Cool. So the four main program highlights that we want to talk about, and again, we have programs that go beyond this. And if you guys are aware of any of those or find some on our website or are curious about any, encourage you guys to reach out, and we'd be happy to share more specific information about those as well. So I think the one that I know some people in this group, I see Gwendolyn Dixon is on here, and a couple other familiar names that we've worked with on the community garden grants. So I'll start with that. So we'll start with community garden grants, then we'll go to community beautification fund, which is kind of this newer program reimbursement that's modeled a little bit after the community garden grants. And then we'll talk about our more recent community composting initiatives. And then we'll also dive into our newest, most exciting program, Sustainability. Tessa, if you want to move on. Cool. So our community garden grant program, as the county, we want to be providing opportunities for individuals, organizations, schools to start gardens in the community. We recognize, that having community gardens provides a gathering space, especially at a place of worship like you guys have, an additional outdoor space to be together, to spend time, to grow together, et cetera, et cetera. It also, helps address actual needs in the community. A lot of these grants that we're giving are churches or organizations that are based in communities where access to fresh food is more limited, and it helps sometimes, branch that divide and also just for the congregation, or whatever organization that is, to have something that they're working on cohesively. So what is available? So we have 3 kinds of community garden grants. We have county garden grants. So that's anybody that wants to start a community garden on county property. That's a bit of a longer approval process, but identify a piece of land that is county owned. Kind of make the case for making that a community garden where people can come together and have different plots and use that area. And we obviously provide the space, and then up to $500 to kind of get that started, in addition to technical assistance and anything else we can provide there. We have a school grants up to $1,000 for any school, private or public, that's interested in starting or expanding a community garden. And then relevant to you guys, we have what we call our non-school stakeholder garden. So again, this is any community organization, church that is looking to start or expand a garden on their own site. And for that, we offer up to $1,000 of grant that can be used, essentially for whatever you need it to be used for to get the garden started or expanded. In addition to then, some technical support. So on this program, we partner with the UF-IFAS Extension Office, kind of their garden experts over there from the onset are there to give advice on best format of a garden, where to build it, some of those gardening tactics. And then, we are also, continued contacts for any garden that wants kind of some ongoing support as we're going. And then we can connect you to any other local organization, that might be able to help as well. So the process for getting these community garden grants is, simply filling out the application. We have an online version or a PDF version. It asks a little bit about what the design of your garden is going to be, what the purpose is going to be, who's going to maintain the garden. So that's a big one. We want to have organizations that have a volunteer base, that if this garden gets started, it's going to be able to be maintained and be beneficial for a long time coming. Once you submit it, we'll review that application and come back with any feedback or any kind of additional questions. If everything checks out, we then conduct a site visit. So Gwendolyn was actually one of the last site visits I did at New Life United Methodist Church. Great little space there next to the garden, looked awesome. Then we go back, we get approval for the site based on need. So you would put in, the request of what kind of materials you want, how much money you think you would need. And then based on that, we try to grant as much as possible. So we award these on a first come, first served basis. And that is based on our fiscal year. So starting in October, those funds would essentially get re-upped. So it might be as we get closer to the summer that we don't have those funds available. Still encourage you to put that application in. And then when we have those funds available again, we'll reach out and we can continue that process. Great. Tessa, if you want to go. Cool. So the second one, and this is a newer program that we have. We actually just had a first organization, Fort Braden Community Group, applied to take advantage of this. So this was based off of, we do this annual lake cleanup, where we try to get volunteers together and clean up a local body of water. And we wanted to provide more opportunities for the community to do those sorts of cleanups on their own. So what we want to do is provide this reimbursement fund of up to $500 for any individual or group that wants to lead up a cleanup initiative. And that can either be a one-time cleanup, maybe you have 100 people, and you need help providing some of the funds for that cleanup to get all, let's say you need a dumpster or something like that. These funds can go towards that. Or if you're a smaller organization or group that does regular cleanups, maybe you do a monthly cleanup with your church and you need trash grabbers or trash bags, reusable trash bags, those funds can also be used for that. And then once you've purchased those materials, you can use those to continue doing those cleanups at your regularly scheduled thing. So application for that is completely online based. If you want a paper copy of it, we can provide that as well. The big thing that we're looking for with the Community Beautification Fund is similar to community gardens. We want this to be, an opportunity to beautify or help improve Leon County, but we also want it to be an opportunity for local citizens to come together, meet each other, bond about, volunteerism, bond about, faith or anything else there. And we want this to be an opportunity. So there are parts in that application that kind of ask, how does your cleanup initiative or beautification initiative help foster, an environment that accepts that? So what kind of projects can you do with that? It's really pretty open-ended. Anything related to illegal dumping, maybe a tree planting or neighborhood planting. Maybe you're cleaning up graffiti or just cleaning up trash. It's really pretty open-ended. And because we haven't had many things, we want kind of creative ideas. We want people that are willing to do projects that are going to help the community in general. So again, there for applying, you can find the application on our website. It's completely web-based. Reach out to us if you want a harder copy of that. And then we'll work with you once that's submitted on potentially getting those funds to you to help support those projects. And Tessa is putting links in the chat to our website where you can find these links on our specific pages. Cool. So third initiative is a composting initiative. We launched this in March. So the county used to offer compost bins at wholesale cost to any organization or community member that was interested. It was a couple of years ago. And since then, we've kind of gotten consistent messages from community members saying, hey, is this still a thing? This is something we're interested in. And this year, it really became more of a priority for us as well. And we wanted to provide this two-part initiative that makes it so that if you have the space and the time and the interest in composting in your own backyard or at a church, we want to make that easier to do. But if you're somebody that also just cares about reducing food waste in general, but doesn't have the space or time to do that, we want to make a drop-off site available as well. So within Leon County, it's estimated that about 11% of waste that goes to the landfill is food waste. So composting goes a far way in reducing, that burden, on us locally, and then also creates essentially liquid gold that can help, us continue to grow stuff in the future. So what are these programs? We have a compost bin sale and giveaway. We started this as kind of a pilot initiative just to get interest. So we launched a 100 bin a giveaway, so it was free for anybody within unincorporated Leon County, and then a wholesale cost for everyone within the city of Tallahassee or not within unincorporated Leon County. Those were all 100 of those bins were claimed within an hour and a half, which is really exciting and made us realize this is something that the community cares about, and we wanted to find a way to offer this more long term. So what we've done, we created a compost bin interest form. So any individual or organization, put your name on that. We'll reach out to you as soon as bins come available. They will be available very soon. We have another order of 300. These are now available at wholesale cost to everybody, regardless of where you live. You don't even have to live within the county. And
Was that us or was that me? Did I freeze?
I think Tobias might have, Tobias might have froze.
Okay.
He's back. Okay, he's back now.
Cool. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Thanks. So yeah, we'll be launching the next kind of sale. These bins are at wholesale cost, so you can get both backyard compost bins, 85-gallon compost bins, and countertop compost bins. Coming shortly, and then we'll make these available twice a year, probably in the fall and in the spring. So again, if you are a church that is interested in composting at church, maybe you guys hold, meetings or lunches there and have organic waste that you want to put there, and maybe you have a community garden at the church that you could use that with, or maybe they're just members of your congregation that could use that compost at home. We encourage you guys to look at this opportunity. And if cost is a barrier, let us know. We're happy to provide any of these bins for free for any organization or individual for whom cost is a barrier. Second, if you just want to reduce food waste in general, but don't have the space or time to be doing that on your own church site or in your own backyard, we have our first pilot drop-off site out at the solid waste facility on Appalachie Parkway. There's bins there. Take your food. Right now, all that compost, eventual compost, is going to be used for our own operations. In the future, if this is successful, we are looking at opportunities to expand this so we can have one of these sites in different communities at different county facilities. Maybe we have these in community gardens in the future, so they can be accessible in all parts of town. And then eventually, if it gets a lot of use, maybe there's even a way that people can get some of that compost, finished compost back as well. So I encourage you guys to check out all 3 of those programs. And then Tessa's going to talk about sustainability.
Cool, thank you. And please let us know if your church or faith-based group is interested in a compost bin. We would be happy to give to donate one to you all. We want to encourage this also for a multifamily, apartments and businesses. We don't want this to just be for residential. We think there's a potential for waste reduction, especially at those places. So that's our kind of next push, is to encourage the adoption of these bins. And for example, my apartment complex, I'm going to try to convince them to get one. We'll see how that goes. All right, so Sustainabiz. So this is our newly launched Sustainable Business Recognition Program. It's a bit of a misnomer because it is also a recognition program for other organizations, including faith-based organizations. We had to come up with a catchy name. This is what we landed on. But this program acknowledges businesses or organizations that have implemented sustainable activities, initiatives, programs, features in their operations. And we want to recognize that work. In addition to just being recognized, something that we wanted to do was amplify that. And so we provide each business or organization that goes through this process with a sustainability action plan that pertains to what they're already doing and provides room for growth for future sustainability initiatives. So we are big believers that it's not, you don't ever just arrive at sustainability and be like, we did it, we have nothing more to do. It's a continuously evolving process. And so we want to provide recognition and then also room for growth. We would love to have multiple faith-based organizations apply for this. It is a criteria checklist. You just check off what you are doing. If things do not apply to you, or if you have questions, or even if you want us to literally walk you through the criteria sheet and do it with you, we are here for that. We would love to work with you on this. We know a lot of you guys are implementing these initiatives. And we are also evolving this. So this criteria, again, we launched it in March. We want to update it and edit it kind of with feedback that we get from organizations that apply. So if you look at it and you're like, yeah, I don't know, our organization does things a little differently. Could we add stuff here? Could we get points here? The answer is yes. I mean, this is a flexible system. We primarily want to encourage sustainability initiatives, recognize what's already being done, and then encourage growth in those programs. So Sustainabiz, Tobias, if you would drop the link in the chat to our Sustainabiz website so that folks can take a look. We'll have our emails and phone numbers, after this presentation in the Q&A. So for anyone that wants to learn more about this, please reach out to either Tobias or I. But we are very excited about this new program. So just to give you an update on what this is. You download the criteria sheet, you fill it out, you send us the score sheet, and then we list you as either bronze, silver, or gold, and give you a sustainability action plan for your group or organization that's specific to what you have accomplished, and adding, again, area for what you would like to accomplish in the future. And then you get a decal. You're featured on our website, you're featured on our green map or our sustainability map, and in our newsletter. So it's also good shout out for your organization too. All right, I'm not going to go into this. This is more of like benefits, but I don't need to give you the lowdown on benefits of being recognized. You all know that already. All right, so I'm going to land on this page, but this is our kind of Q&A time for the group. Please, these are our emails and phone numbers. Call us, email us, anything, after this presentation. We would love to hear from you on any sustainability topic. And oh, Carlos, I see a question in the chat. When and how often are you judging applicants? It's a continuous basis. So if you fill out the criteria sheet and you send it to us, we will take a look at it within 10 business days and give you a response by then. Yeah, so quick turnaround. Our team is excited about this. We want to really grow and expand its reach. So this is a priority for us. Website, I think Suzanne, Tobias linked it. I'll put the shorter link URL, which is growinggreen.org/sustainabiz. Tobias had a little bit of a longer URL. That's our shortcut. So that is our website if you guys have questions about that. And yeah, that is the end of our more formal presentation. I know we're cutting up on the 30-minute mark, but would love to answer any more questions from the group.
Excellent. Wow. Thank you so much. That went by so fast. That was also interesting. So I can't believe we're actually already at questions and answers, but yeah, the time is now. So yeah, now's the time, you guys. We have these leaders really in our community here to answer our questions. I want to thank you both for all that you do. I'm really proud to be in this community where all of this action is taking place. And I can tell you that getting that grant for the garden took our creation care ministry from an idea to a reality. I mean, it was just that fast. So, and it was an easy process. I think we got approval in like a week. So I would encourage everyone, and I have been encouraging everyone to think about that for their own churches, because it really has made a big difference. And, you know, you can also donate your food to the food bank like we do to be able to move it forward as well. And right now, you know, there's so much food insecurity in our community. There's just a huge need for it. So, okay, what questions do we have? You have a question, just unmute yourself and ask away. Certainly there's some.
While we're waiting for people to ask questions, I would be remiss to not give a shout out to Dara Wilson. She may have hopped off, but she was part of our sustainability summit in April. She led a awesome bird walking guided tour. So just wanted a quick shout out for her.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if she's still with us, but yeah, she is wonderful. I'm excited about the Sustainabiz. I didn't know that faith-based groups could apply for that. So that's great. And, you know, that really does help with our houses of worship to be able to say, look, we're doing this and we're being recognized by the community. So I appreciate, you know, you all doing that. Okay, who's question?
I have a question. On the grants program, is the budget for that come out of the general fund of the county, or is there a special source of money for that?
Great question. Yes, so our sustainability budget is out of the general fund.
Okay. Is there any need for groups to just kind of constantly talk to county commissioners about the need to keep funding this, or maybe increase funding?
I so appreciate the question, and we will never say no to telling commissioners how awesome sustainability is and how important it is to citizens. That only ever helps us. You know, we want to be constantly relevant, and you know, so that is an excellent way to for commissioners just to know that that is still important, and even so more important, I would argue, to citizens now more than ever. So yes, that would be wonderful, Dawn. Thank you.
Good point. We could even send something from our Tallahassee Green Faith Alliance group as a whole, just saying how much it has helped us and we appreciate it. So that's really good. Good idea, Dawn.
How
Hey,
how long has Leon County had a sustainability office?
So we have been in existence since, I believe, February of 2009. So now almost 11 years, or beyond 11 years, which is excellent. We're one of the oldest sustainability offices in Florida. Yeah, we've grown a lot since then too.
Good.
So the app for the compost bins, That's through Growing Green. I could just go
I'll
here.
put that,
Yeah.
I'll put that in the chat as well.
So there's no app, Gwendolyn. Tobias, I think for us, for if you're interested in getting one for yourself personally, or for a faith-based organization, if you just want to send us an email. Now, if you, for faith-based organizations and other nonprofits, we provide those bins for free. And same with any citizen that says cost is a barrier. But then for everyone else, there's a interest form online that Tobias can drop in the chat to add your name. We have like 500 people on the wait list or something ridiculous like that. But a lot of really interested people interested in getting compost bins, which is fantastic. So Gwendolyn, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
I would add that for our garden grant, we actually included a compost bin on our list, and we were able to pick out the one that worked for us. And we've used it now for 5 years. And really, when you think about it, our houses of worship, so many of us have events around food and coffee. And so it just has worked hand in hand with our garden to where, I mean, the last year we haven't been meeting in person, but before that, it was a constant, just place for us to put all the vegetable scraps from our kitchen for our Wednesday night dinners, all of our coffee grinds from every Sunday school room and every event. And it made such a great, black gold for us to put on our garden. It saved us money from buying compost. So it's such a win-win. So if you do a garden grant, you could also include, the compost bin of your choice on there.
Great point, Kara. Thank you for mentioning that. And we have one at work. So for example, I mean, even if you have, at your place of work or and anyone that you know at place of work, I mean, we compost in the back. It has never smelled. It has never been any issue, but now all of our food scraps from our lunch and all of my personal food scraps from home get brought here and composted. I live in an apartment. It would be very hard for me to compost on my tiny balcony because it's full of plants and small in general. But anyway, so I bring them here.
Absolutely. It also makes a statement. We can't afford solar panels yet at our church, but we have our compost bin out there, and it makes a statement and it helps educate others. And so many people at St. Paul's have started gardens and have started composting because they see the example that's being done right here. And they realize, oh yeah, it doesn't smell. Oh, wow, that's where my broccoli comes from. Like, it really is such a cool, just communication opportunity to have these things out on our house of worship grounds. So yeah, and ours has never smelled either. So
awesome.
I also just want to add, in terms of, like sharing the message or getting the information out, we are always happy to give this sort of as an addition to the programs. Is we're happy to give chats like this to individual faith-based organizations or churches whenever you guys might want that. I think I see Marianne on here. So there are organizations or groups we've worked with in the past where we've done similar presentations. So if you think that's of interest to your church, let us know and we'd be happy to help schedule one of those as well.
that's a great idea for our creation care teams. We're always looking for speakers and ways to engage the community. I think that's one of the biggest questions we've had is, what can I recycle? I mean, that is like always the big question of our congregation. So having these guys on for a special event and being able to answer the congregation's questions, that's a really good point. Thank you. All right, we have time for like one more question. Anyone else have one more question?
I have a question.
Hey.
Many years ago, Sustainable Tallahassee saw the need for bringing together organizations, city, county, and other major players in the area in a cooperative organization compact, the Sustainability Compact. You did not mention that. Can you briefly explain to this group what the compact is and where we are on that process?
Absolutely, Carlos. Thank you for asking that. So I'll keep it brief. And again, our presentation was very high level. We could have dove into so many specifics about our work, including the compact. So I apologize for not getting to everything. So the Capital Area Sustainability Compact is a group of the 8 largest organizations in the Leon County, Tallahassee area. And it includes the hospitals, all of the universities, the school districts, city and county. The purpose of the compact was for the largest organizations in the community who all have the same sustainability challenges and opportunities to work together, to solve sustainability issues, right? And to collaborate. So before we had roughly talked about sustainability together, but never in such like a cohesive way of, really strategizing together is what I should say. And so we have a steering committee, which one member from each organization sits on. I'm the representative from Leon County. And then we have 3 working groups, and those are staff-based. So for example, our transportation working group has the fleet directors from each of our, organizations, or fleet managers. The waste group has, solid waste managers, recycling coordinators from the different organizations. And then those specific groups talk about, again, more of that specific action item and progress forward. So something we're working on this year, Carlos, just to give you an update, is each of our organizations, the goal is by the end of this year to have started on a greenhouse gas emission inventory for each of our organizations. The city and the county have done one, FSU has done one. We don't believe any of the other organizations in the compact have done one, but if we can get each of us to do one, then we can really start to strategize together for reducing our greenhouse gas emissions.
Good, thank you.
Excellent. All right. Well, I know that I say on behalf of everyone, we're so grateful for everything that you all do and your time with us today. You guys, please reach out to, Tessa and Tobias to get all your questions answered. They are here for us and they want to be partnering with us. So thanks again. And we just appreciate you so much.
We appreciate you. Thank you all so much. And we look forward to hearing from you. Hope to receive some Sustainabiz and other grant applications from you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, wonderful. I just wanted to point out something we've talked about here before, which is if you go to the Interfaith Power and Light website, they have a lot of support for houses of worship to move towards sustainability. And they have in particular something called Cool Congregations. So it's at www.coolcongregations.org. And there you can follow their, get involved with their startup kits. They have a congregational calculator. They even have a certification for sustainable congregations, and they have a challenge. So it's they really focus in on sustainable sanctuaries, and that would be a great place to start if you're interested in doing more, which I know we all are interested in that. Okay, great. I see that Minister Bobby is here, so I'm going to flip on back over to my screen share so he can I can welcome him and we can talk more about what he's been up to. Okay, Minister Bobby Streeter is here with us, and he's with New Life United Methodist Church, and he is starting a new project that Pam McVitie has kind of included me on, and he's included me on, and it's a really exciting project. It's a radio show that's going to help spread awareness about people of faith being, concerned and involved with environmental issues like through creation care. So, Minister Streeter, do you want to just talk real quick about, just say hello and then I could run the video?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Pleasant good afternoon to you, Kara, and to all of you, recipients of God's abundant blessing. I'm Minister Bob Streeter. I'm a member of New Life United Methodist Church here in Tallahassee, where there was always new hope for a new beginning. And I was in conversation with Kara as well as with Pam about the value of having a courageous conversation about the global impact as we have just finished celebrating Earth Day. So with that said, I'm just going to show a real quick, short clip to kind of give you an overview of the global radio broadcast, and then I can entertain any questions that you may have.
Excellent. All right, here we go.
When we take care of the earth takes care of us. We cut down a forest. We plow up grasslands. We pollute and overfish. These practices are profoundly altering the earth. Individual acts alone can't fix global ills. But each of us can do our part to reduce environmental and social injustice. Join Bobby Streeter 3 on 94.1 WAKU FM Global Broadcast. Putting more conversation and energy into the search for solutions. Take 5 minutes to transform your thinking about where we live in a place called Earth.
Thank you very much. As you know, we have a multitude of environmental crises that we're in, and we know that public action at scale is absolutely essential. And in conjunction with the radio broadcast, a lot of people don't know that June is the World Environmental Day. And our hope is to be able to launch the radio broadcast to raise awareness. And in conjunction, by November of 2021, November of this year, to gain traction, because in November is a very critical month, because that is the United Nations Climate Negotiation month, and to raise conversation about the struggle of the global climate and environmental justice. And it begins with us, faith leaders in the community and global friends that we have. And remember this, the next time you flush your toilet, praise God. We have what we call plumbing poverty. I grew up in a home that didn't have indoor plumbing. And statistically, there are 1.5 million citizens here in the United States that do not have means of plumbing, indoor plumbing. That's 40% of the Navajo families, 16.6 African-American community, 16.7 Hispanic community, as well as if an individual that lives in a mobile home, there's a 2.5% chance that they are living in a home without indoor plumbing. So we, in summary, we're not going to only just talk about plumbing poverty, but we're going to talk about the issues, and hopefully that we can have a courageous conversation and meet the needs as far as educating the public. So I will open up the floor, if I may, Kara, if anyone will have any questions.
Absolutely. And I will just preface that with, we have an opportunity as being here in Tallahassee to support this program and to be included in the interviews. This is going to be a 5-minute program, Monday through Friday. And this is something that I'm very excited about. Reverend Bob's quality of just the way he's pulled this together, that video, obviously, and the way he's approaching this is just, it's very good quality. It's, I think it's going to make a big difference on this radio station where people don't hear this message. So I'm really excited about being part of this, being part of the kind of the launching team. We are looking for stories. So be thinking about like what kind of stories are going on at your house of worship. We're also looking for funding, of course. And I was really encouraged to hear that it is not as expensive as I was expecting. I think, did we say $800 a month?
Today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so $800 a month, which I thought was pretty reasonable. And if we had, if we had interest in supporting this as a group, we could, look for donations within our own houses of worship.
Well, let me interject on it. With the $800 investment, basically you'll get 3 months of sponsorship and underwriting, like NPR. This program is brought to you by. So inclusive of that $800, that's one-time investment of $800, and that includes for 3 months of underwriting the program. And I really appreciate that. And I can entertain any questions that you may have, as well as this is a great opportunity on the locale to be able to get the voice out of what we're doing in the community, because the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, but we also are stewards, not only the spaces in which we live, but also the global impact. I had a conversation with a gentleman in Singapore, China on Tuesday. And believe it or not, he is the working in conjunction with the United Nations, and his organization is the World Toilet Organization, WTO, I kid you not. And he's raising the awareness in Pakistan, India, and across the globe that there are a lot of people that are citizens of countries that don't have adequate plumbing, and it affects the infrastructure of our rivers, as well as disease can rise as well. But the more pronounced statistic here in the United States, there's over 1 million people without indoor plumbing. So those are just one of the issues that we'll be talking about. There's a whole cornucopia of information at the same time for you to share your story as a faith-based community.
Let me just add that all of us spend a great deal of time doing outreach and information sharing in our community and across the state and nationally. And this is an amazing opportunity to reach hundreds of thousands of people 5 days a week with a 5-minute message. I was telling Bobby and Kara that Yale Climate Connections does this daily, but their message is only 2 minutes long. And if you ever listen to their podcast, they're pretty amazing, the amount of information that you can cram into 2 minutes. And we're going to have 5 minutes, 5 days a week to share with a much larger group. All of us spend too much time talking to ourselves too. And I think through this radio station, we're going to connect with a segment of the community and society and the nation and globally that never hear the messages about what's happening to creation. So I'm real excited about this and feel blessed that Bobby came forth with this idea of how to reach more people to share the message of what's happening to our earth. So thank you, Bobby.
Thank you very much. And I think the catalyst of the program is for those that are very humble and transparent to share their stories. As I said, my story of growing up in a home without indoor plumbing, and you can't phantom that in 2021. So hopefully, in conjunction to everyone in this group, continue to champion the cause, continue to give out good information in our stewardship of this earth that we're blessed to be on. And thank you for the time.
I told Bobby my goal is to get the Pope on there.
It's possible.
I think that would reach a lot of people and be very effective. So we're going to work on going from sewage up to the Pope.
Okay.
Well, and also this isn't just going to be a local story. We're going to have this through social media. We can be worldwide, and we are going to be seeking speakers and people from across the country and the world. So I don't know of a lot of other radio programs like this. So I think this is really groundbreaking, and certainly we don't have anything like this in Tallahassee. So if you don't have any questions right now, think about it. Email me. I will be sending you all more information on this as we get it. But if anyone is feeling it in their heart to kind of join our cause here, please do. You're welcome. Mr. Bobby is amazing at this, and I know that he would appreciate our support.
Yeah.
Bob
A
has,
two-part question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have a launch date, and what time of day will the 5-minute segment be aired?
I couldn't hear the first part. It was breaking
you
up a
have-
little bit.
You have a launch date?
Oh, certainly. Very good question. Projected to launch June of 2021. The station is WAKU here based in Crawfordville, the corporate office in Tallahassee. To start, not only that you hear locally, but also they broadcast on the internet. So that gives you the global footprint. But that's a very good question. And as I said in the introduction, June is a very critical month when you talk about the global aspect and talking about climate. So it's kind of in conjunction with that and track to what's happening globally in November, where they actually will have another conversation about the climate change. But it's an opportunity to for an organization to get their voice out and what you do. And as a faith-based community, this is our opportunity to seize the airways and to not only to share, but to motivate and inspire folks to have a courageous conversation about the environment and planet that we live in. But
and
that's
Is that June
Bob,
1st?
it's scheduled for 5:30 each day, right?
oh yeah. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yes, and part B that you had asked as well. It's at 5:35 to 5:40 between that that drive time, which is pretty
that's a
good.
good
We call
time.
prime time drive time. Yes, sir.
And this is starting June 1st or somewhere else in the month?
Well, rejecting, I want to start middle June because I'm still collaborating and fostering partnership for sponsors.
Okay.
So the thing is that not only to get those to underwrite the program, but also to line up guests per se with interviews as well. So I'm moving at a breathless pace to put all of that together. But today's conversation is just a clarity call that you have a voice, and hopefully that you'll be able to take advantage of the opportunities to share the good news of how we can be better stewards of the earth.
Kara, you could post the underwriter's proposal request form. I know
Yes, I have a one pager, and I can send that, which would be complete. So it'd be the one pager with information plus the clip that you saw as well. My firm, Team Streeter Seminars and Services, are spearheading the project. We have in conjunction with the radio station. So you receive in the package the one pager information, the video clips, and also bio information on yours truly.
Yes, and I'd rather email that because I can't post while I'm running the meeting. So I'll follow up
Yeah.
email with this
Yeah.
recording, and I'll email that to everyone in the group.
Yes.
Because I was thinking that the way it's written up, it's a good proposal to take to your house of worship and see if there's any interest in supporting this radio show. I'm gonna take it to my church, First Presbyterian, and see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And even if you can't, we definitely want your stories. We want you to know that this is a voice that, we have as people of faith doing this work. And we're local. So, that is a nice thing that we're able to do. So think about, how your house of worship is embracing, environmentalism and creation care. And, we'd love to talk to you about, how we could include you as a story.
Yes, it's open. It's open to, because it really echoes the message that you're already doing, and at the same time, it enhance a footprint of sharing and becoming a conduit of information, which is very, very important. We're more than tree huggers. Some may say, well, that's just a tree hugger show. No, it's really getting to the pages of people's lives and tying in the value, of being good stewards of God's earth. So I need your help. My My need is for you to just point me in the right direction, say, hey, Bobby, I know such and such so, and to go from there.
Absolutely. What are
Yeah.
the call numbers?
Question. Oh,
Is
that
it
was a question.
94?
No, we got a question. Oops.
No, that was my question. What are the
Oh.
call numbers?
Yes, the radio station is WAKU 94.1.
94.1.
Yes. Trua is the name of, it's a Christian-based station, faith-based station, FM. Matter of fact, before I started my own firm, I was an employee with the radio station. I did broadcasting commercials on their station and also helped with the marketing and sales. So real good people. They're local. Personally know the family, the Floyd family, Donna, and bless her soul. Her husband has passed away. We're good friends of mine as well. Mike Floyd, if any of you may know Mike, he was a good friend of mine. Loved his airplanes. But good family, sound business as far as getting the gospel out in the means of a radio station. Very good question. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your time with us today. We know you have other meetings that you're running to, but
Yeah.
I will be following up with an email with the group and then, you know, continuing to work with you on this exciting project.
Thank you, all of you, for your time, and God bless you, and continue to be a champion what God has blessed you to do. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
much. All right. All right. Well, that is exciting. To me, I think that, you know, having that kind of reach would just be something really, really fun and interesting and way to expand what we're doing. So now that we've had our speakers come, I thought we could just spend some time just sharing. We could, you know, just talk about what you guys did during Earth Month, either your house of worship or you personally. You know, I know it's a busy month for a lot of us. So if you have some cool stuff you'd like to share just to help inspire and tell us, you know, what you've been up to, that would be great. Now's the chance. And I'm looking at you, Gwen. You had quite a month over there with your first Creation Care Sunday.
Yes, we did. And we also had what we call empowerment, which was actually on a Thursday. And Pam was very instrumental in coming to share that. Kim Davis is also on the line, so she probably can share a little bit more regarding that. But that was very informational, and we do thank Pam for coming and doing that for us. We also were able to actually kick off our community garden with the children during that month. And I thought about it, but just didn't get around to, because I do have some photos that I could have shared with you. But we had kids who came and actually planted. We also had, I saw her someplace, oh, there she is, Jessie. Jessie came and she did the flowers with the kids. The first day we tried, the sky opened up and we all got soaked, but we came back the next Sunday, and the kids did an excellent job. Jessie was there again, and I was at the garden Monday and Tuesday. Of course, it's been raining for the rest of the week, but everything was looking good. And so we're well on our way. Hopefully in the fall, we can expand it quite a bit. But it's very exciting. We have a young college student from FAMU Wesley Foundation who's working with us. And Sunday she came and she brought some scraps from her table and she was saying, Sister Gwen, what? So we'll be working with her on the composting piece. So it's been very exciting. Sometimes I'm asking like, okay, what do we do here? But it's been very good. So thank you all for your prayers and support, and we're moving forward.
That is so exciting. I am just thrilled and lots of prayers for everything that you all are doing. I shared the service, the New Life service, the Creation Care service on our Tallahassee Green Faith Alliance Facebook page. If you guys didn't see it, tune into that. I'll tell you what, it's so inspiring, really beautiful, and I'm just so excited for you guys. So good job. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you all for your assistance.
Yes. So anyone else do anything for Earth Month? I know you did. Who would like to tell us?
Kara, it's Mary
Yes.
Ann.
Hey.
I have a very poor connection this morning, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But we launched Creation Care Ministry at Trinity United Methodist. And it's very exciting. We had about 28 people come into a Zoom meeting, sign up for different programs that we want to launch. And using your words and your advice, we're going at it slowly, but have lots going on actually. So in June, we're going to have a kayaking day out in Lake Talquin with a naturalist that will be with the kayakers. We're hoping to put together what's called One Book, One Church, where we will be reading together environmental creative care book for all different age groups. There'll be 3 different sections, I guess you'd say. We're putting together a sustainable Trinity and using actually the Sustainabiz website to help us, to guide us really, which is terrific. So we're on a move, and we feel very, very positive about it. We've got about 5 people going down to Divine Dirt I Grow Gardens on Monday morning to help. So that's really our gardening emphasis, because we don't have any room. And one last thing, we're very interested in the composting. So I'm going to email some of this information to the gal that's chairing the Sustainable Trinity. But thanks for all your help.
Wow. I am so excited that Trinity United Methodist has launched this. This is great. You know, we've been talking for at least 2 years. And honestly, between you and New Life both launching in April, it's just been overwhelmingly exciting. So thank you for all you do. And I would love to hear more about the book that you're going to be using for your study for those 3 age groups. That might be something we'd be interested in as well.
Okay.
Very, very great job. Yay. I love it. Keep the updates coming.
Thanks.
All right, Pam. Unmute.
Sorry.
It's okay.
This isn't a report on what our church did. This is a follow-up to the article I wrote called Latricia's Story, which is a follow-up to the Ring the Bells event in March that we all hosted together. And as a follow-up to that, I wrote a story about environmental racism, and Latricia Scriven, who's the minister at New Life United Methodist Church, wrote a story about her growing up in Cancer Alley in New Orleans. And in it, I mentioned her son, not by name, but that Sam had been born with some problems and that he'd overcome them. I'm excited to tell you that today in the Tallahassee Democrat, I saw that Latricia's son, Sam Scriven, was selected as the best and brightest in the category of drama and performance arts. Yeah, it gives me goosebumps. It's absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is, when I was reading the write-up about him, I realized that I'd heard him perform a couple times in the Madrigal Singers and hadn't made the connection with Latricia. So that's one of our own here.
Wow.
Doing well.
He's amazing. He gave us 2 videos for Ring the Bells, and I was just blown away. So
yeah.
I'm so glad he got recognized. Thank you for sharing that.
The best in the county. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working with Latricia as well on Season of Creation, which is in the fall. We're going to be talking about doing an environmental justice campaign because she also wrote a book called When Jesus Laughs. And it's a great children's book. And so we're hoping to be able to raise awareness about it, get it out into the children's ministries. It's a beautiful African-American Jesus, and it's all about creation. The flowers make him laugh, the animals make him laugh. Really, really cool. So stay tuned. We're working on that together now. And it could be applicable to all of our houses of worship, I think, at least the Christian ones. Thank you, Pam. Jesse, do you want to share about what was going on at St. Paul's? Can you unmute? For Creation Care Sunday, we had 3 things going on there. So there you
All right, well, you'll have to, yeah, we did. Let's see. It seems so long ago now, so much.
go. 2 weeks ago, I know.
We had a sermon that was wonderful, in particular, particularly focused on creation and our care for creation. And after that, in the courtyard, we had a plant sale, mostly tomatoes that we have been growing from seed since the end of January, I think. Kara's bedroom was filled with, it was a greenhouse for much of the time. And my husband has been taking our plants outside and back into the garage at night because we have all kinds of critters that like to nibble on them or dig them up. And so we raised over $300 for Creation Care mission efforts for the coming year with our tomato plant sale, because we kept growing them and transplanting, I don't know, volunteers and stuff. You just, an obsession kind of thing. But that was very satisfying. And we also had people, Catherine and Marnie from Plant It Forward, come and help us actually plant some native trees on our property. And that had been a month or maybe a year-long project, Kara, your connection with them. So we have some Duhan holly trees, and we have a maple, and I can't even remember all of them, but we had families and children involved with the actual planting and plans for who's going to care for, which trees, and learn all they can about them. Susan Robinson made these awesome slate tags, a stake with the tags on them for the trees to help people identify them. And so, yes, it was a very busy Sunday, but very satisfying. We're doing our part. And
Yeah,
so.
thank you. It felt good because we hadn't done anything in person yet. It was our first real in person, because last year we didn't get to do Creation Care Sunday. So we did it. It was less people, but it was wonderful to be back out there. And we had a blessing of the garden too, because we put in a new sitting area and new native plants.
That's right. How could I forget that?
That was because there was 3 things happening, but we really are doing more about adding native plants to our grounds to be able to make it more of a wildlife sanctuary. So yeah, we had 5 or 6 trees, French tree, red buckeye tree, that Plants It Forward donated to us. So that was pretty neat. Okay, thanks, Jesse. Anybody else want to share? Okay, all right, well, that was great. Oh, yes, Rosa.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
We celebrated Earth Day. We got so enthusiastic, we did not 1 but 2 services on Sundays, and we have adopted the Drawdown Challenge. from the book Drawdown. And so there's about 20 or so of us that are doing individual actions based on the Drawdown Challenge, which is on the web, so that we can take personal responsibility and make a difference that way. But I'd like to take a point of personal privilege and say that yesterday we defeated a rezoning for a gas station. And I'm just so delighted that that happened. I live in Melody Hills, and it was proposed for the corner of Blairstone and Miccosukee Road. And many of you may remember the contentious fight over the Blairstone extension when it was proposed back in 1995. And there were promises made to this community that there would not be commercial development on Blairstone except at the corner of Park and Blairstone. And this rezoning of that property would have allowed a huge 8,000 foot gas station / convenience store on the corner there with dumpsters abutting Blairstone Road and all kinds of amenities. So we rallied with a number of other neighborhoods, and some of you may have been a part of that, to remind the city commission of their pledge to keep Blairstone as a greenway with the trees and no commercial development. And so I'm very pleased to report that they listened despite a very high-powered attorney who was representing the parcel owners, and they voted unanimously to defeat the rezoning that would have put a gas station there on that corner.
Good work. Excellent, excellent, good job. Yes, we have to hold people accountable because things are forgotten. So
that's right.
Yes.
That's a hard, I was gonna say, that's a hard one to follow up, but I gotta brag on the Big Bend Catholics Caring for Creation group. In April, we joined a tree planting at Governor's Park. 1,000 trees went into the ground in about an hour and a half. And we had a half a dozen people helping. But afterwards, the lesson is we sent a couple photos and some copy to the Democrat reporting basically on the event. And apparently nobody else was doing anything like that. And we got publicity out of that for the tree planting. And people were able to read about that effort and what was accomplished. So if you have a project that's of interest, especially wider interest throughout the community, send the information into the Democrat. Occasionally they print that stuff. And if you have good, clear pictures, they'll put those in too.
Absolutely. They pretty much always print that stuff. Yeah. So did you send it to Randy or Martha, or who'd you send it to?
I think we sent it to Martha.
Martha's the one. Yep. Martha Grudner. She's wonderful, and she will get your stuff printed. That's a great reminder. Whatever we're doing, amplify it by just taking a few pictures, writing up a couple paragraphs, put it on social media, send it to the paper. It's not that we're trying to, blow our own horns. We're trying to raise awareness and give other people the idea. That's really the point, is to, keep spreading this idea and the word on. Okay, wow, that was awesome, you guys. We could continue on like this all day, but we have to move on, I'm afraid. So thank you for sharing and keep up the great work. I don't know about you, but I'm a little like, whew, okay. We made it through April. Now let's breathe for 1 second. But I did want to tell you that we had our last Lighting the Way event with St. Paul's, where we took 50 people out to kayak the Wasissa River. And that was amazing because this is we're doing it with New Life and FAMU Impact. Did I already tell you guys about this? Can't remember. Anyway, we waited a year to be able to do this paddling trip because of COVID, and we finally got to do it 2 weeks ago. It was so much fun, and our relationships have grown so strong through this that we've decided to continue these projects, these outings, even though the funding is gone. So we're going to continue to go hiking, and I just got permission from our missions committee to get a little more funding so we can at least have a lunch or something that we could provide after we do the hike. So Gwen, that's hot off the press that we are going to be able to continue that project quarterly with hike or some kind of event. So because I know our group has loved it, and I get that from you guys too. So it's exciting. Okay, great. All right, let me go back to my share here. Just a couple of announcements. Yes, Jesse and my baby tomatoes that we have raised lovingly need homes. We have about 50 left that need homes. So this Sunday, we're going to be giving them away at St. Paul's to our congregation and to Tallahassee Green Faith Alliance and pretty much anybody who shows up. Between 10:15 and 11:30. I know that's also church time for you guys, but if you're interested, let me know. I could also leave some there at the garden if you think you'll come by and pick them up. There are babies, so we want to make sure they all end up in good homes. So these are like the last ones, and they look great. They're the Chadwick cherry tomatoes that are heirloom, that are kind of like the Campari tomatoes. They're a little bit larger. They're just delicious. They go all summer. And they're free. Another reminder to join us at the iGrow Garden. It's really looking beautiful. Our group has really helped transform that space. And Maisha Mitchell and Elder Ivy are so grateful. So thank you all who are going faithfully and serving in that way. It really makes a big difference. Maisha just told me that they're now serving 75 families. They're able to use this fresh produce and supplement it with food from Second Harvest. And a lot of times they deliver it to people who aren't able to come to food banks. So it's a great chance also for us to learn about how to garden, so we can therefore do it at our own houses of worship. Contact Susan if you want to be added to the text list at suerobbins@me.com. And I had an idea I wanted to share with you all for our next meeting. I know that many of us have had our double vaccinations, and the CDC is saying that it's pretty safe to meet outside. So I was wondering if you all were ready for that, to meet in person for our next meeting in June. And if so, I wanted to offer up a meeting at St. Paul's to in our garden, just to share what we've been up to, kind of like we used to do before COVID hit and we had to be brought online. How do you all feel? Are you comfortable with meeting in person again if we're outside? Would you like to do that, or is this just so convenient? Like, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't want to be the one to decide that. So maybe raise your hand if you think you'd be interested in meeting outside at St. Paul's in June.
It maybe should be earlier in the day, because in June it's going to be really hot.
That's a good point. Yeah, we do have a really nice outdoor chapel that's completely shaded, but that is a good point. Would you all be able to meet earlier, like maybe 10 instead of 11:30? Does that work with your schedules? Raise your hand if so. Maybe. Sort of. Rose is like, no. Okay. Well, I think if, at least for the summer, if we're going to meet and we're going to meet outside, I think that's a pretty good idea.
Should we bring folding chairs or something?
We have an outdoor chapel that has benches, so I think that would be fine. And we'll probably walk around a little bit too and just show you our new native plants and just kind of, you know, what we used to do. We started this group by meeting at each other's houses of worship and just learning about what was going on there. So I'm excited about getting back to that. As much as it's been nice to have speakers and everything online, I'm ready to get back together. And we can wear masks, you know, if that's what you all are comfortable with. So yeah, we'll work that out, figure that out. Who knows, I guess in June, it's still recommended to wear a mask outside. I don't even know. But okay, great. Well, then that is what we will plan to do for our June meeting, which will be June 10th. We'll change the time to 10 to 11:30. Okay, and now we are at our closing prayer, and let's see, I have asked Suzanne to pray with us, pray for us and with us. She is at Good Shepherd,
Mm.
and I'd be so grateful.
Thank you. All right, since I'm a Good Shepherd, it's a Catholic church, so go with that. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you, dear Heavenly Father. We thank you today for bringing us together, and we thank you for the opportunity to share what we are doing to care for your creation. And we thank you especially for your creation, for the earth and for the rain today and for the cool air. And we ask you that you'll be with us and bless our efforts to do the best that we can for your creation and for each other. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. It was wonderful seeing you all. Just have a blessed day and week, and just get outside. Now is the best time of the year. So I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy it. Take good care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll send the information along and a copy of this recording to you so you can revisit everything if you need to.
Bye-bye.
Bye.